Okay, Mary, so here's your new DTF shaker. This is how it's going to come in this crate here, inside a box. So once you pull it out of the box, you're going to flip up on all these tabs with a flathead screwdriver. So just kind of bend them upwards and straight, and that way you're able to pull the top straight off. So just go around it. I'm kind of bending, pushing the screwdriver under, and then just kind of bending straight up with it, and it'll bend that piece straight up. So just get the flathead under it, and then bend straight up until this piece is just straight, so that we can pull this lid off. Okay, so once you get all your tabs straight and up in the air, you just pull this top piece off at that point. Set it aside, and then we'll pull it out from here. Okay, so once you get the top off, you're going to have your packing list. You're going to have an instruction manual, kind of just gives you the information on it. And then you're going to have at the top 2 bars. So before you pull the styrofoam out, take out the 2 bars and set this aside. Now you can pull off the styrofoam. Pull it off carefully, straight up. Come straight up. Set that aside. And now you can get a partner to kind of team lift this out. Or you could take off the sides. These sides come out, and they'll be it'll actually just fall. So you can do the same thing with the top that we took that off with on the sides as well, and that way it'll peel it right off, so you don't have to lift it out. You can kind of just maneuver it out by yourself if you're by yourself. But if you have a partner, you can grab each side of it and you can sort of lift it out of place. So like I said, you can either take it off from the sides the same way you did and just flip them off, or get a partner and sort of just lift it out. I can do it if you want. On that side, pick it up. Take this side, I got more room. Just kind of grab and squeeze the sides on the one side, and it'll come up. Wear gloves so it sticks to it, and just pull it out, or take off the sides. At the bottom of the crate, you'll find all your supplies, and this is actually the tray that goes in for your powder, that goes in the machine, which I'll show you soon. Okay, so when you get the tray that goes inside your shaker, inside will be all the parts. So you have your attachment here that goes on the front for your rollers. You're going to have your power cord in here. There's going to be, this is another part for the rollers here. And then you're also going to have a bag of spare parts with some switches, relay. You're going to have a handle here that you have to put on here. So your handle goes here, so you're able to lift this up. So you see 2 holes here. That's where your handle will go. You get a brush inside. So there's a bunch of parts in here, and there's tools as well in here that you get. And so that'll all be inside here, and that'll be wrapped up in here. Okay, so when you get this, you can just tear off the outside, the plastic around it. I've got to cut it a little bit carefully because I have to rewrap it for shipping purposes. Plastic's kind of on the wheels, so you can just lift a little to get it around that. And again on the other side, take all this plastic off, unwrap it. These are all your controls here for your heat, your dust switch, your shaker switch, and your power itself. This is your emergency stop button. This is your shaker control speed, and this is your dusting control speed. And this is the screen that shows you your temperatures. Inside you'll find the roll for the back. So for plugging it in, this end goes into the machine, this end into the outlet. Plug it in the front. And then this is your power switch on and off here. So again, inside here, remembering the handle is for here. You install that on there, and that's as simple. The screws are all in here for everything. You're gonna have these brackets here that have an L and an R on it. And that'll go on the left and right side. And there's 4 screws. Screws are in here. You're gonna put one on each side. And that is for your back roll. And then you're gonna have these here as well. And these will go inside to hold the powder when you put your film inside. So those will go inside. When you're installing the back ones, again, inside this manual here, we'll show you all of how it is, what it looks like, and how the film is also fed through. You have 2 guiders at the back, so just make sure once your film is through that you just adjust these just to the side of each one, and then you can lock them in place. So find the side and then you just twist it to lock it in place, and that way it holds your film straight to your roll. Okay, so let's go over some of the controls. This is your main power switch. It turns the fuse on, but it doesn't turn anything else on. It's just telling it that it's ready to be powered on. This is your main power button here. That will activate the machine. Again, you have a stop button. If there's an emergency, you can always hit it. You have your shaker switch, power. We'll turn that on. Your dust switch, you turn on. And your heat, of course, for your oven. So you turn that on. So once these are all turned on, your control speeds are here for how fast things go. So this is your dust speed, and that's up here. And the more I turn that, the quicker it gets, and the more powder will fall out. So you can adjust that to your desired speed. And as well, you have a shaker speed control. So this is the part that bangs off the powder before it goes into the actual oven. So you can turn that up. Just turn it up enough to where it's actually banging off all the powder, and then you just leave it at that speed. And again, that's adjusted here. Then you have your heat controls here. So we set it at 110, but if you're going faster, if you're getting a lot of fast prints through, you might want to turn it up or down to your desired heat. So what you would do in this case is push set, and then you just push up or down to your desired heat, and then hit set again. And then it will rise to that temperature or lower to the temperature that you put it at. So we're gonna leave it set at 110, so I'm gonna lower that down to 110, and then hit set again. And now it's set at 110, and it won't exceed 110 here. So your rollers are underneath the machine, so you sort of got to kind of flip it once you get that plastic off, and just pull back ever so lightly, and then you've got to cut 2 cable ties down here, and then that'll come out. So again, there's 2 cable ties at the bottom. You're just going to cut those, and then your rollers will fall out. So just kind of hold the rollers at the same time you're cutting so it doesn't just fall. And then you can kind of gracefully pull that out nice and carefully. And these are your rollers. You can pull out, make sure you pull out make sure you cut these out. The cable ties right out. You might have to get in there to get those. Remembering to remove all of the plastic from the cable tie. So remove all of that, discard. Okay, so once you have your back roller assembly on and these back rollers are on, you're going to plug it into the side here, winding plug-in. And then once you get it in there, this is where it auto feeds and pulls back your final roll. So you're just going to want to make sure it's pulling back the right way. And then inside, as your film goes through, there's a sensor. So that little square there, that one there is your sensor. So every time it gets weighed down with powder and it needs to go through, it'll sense your film. So it's green, now it goes red when it senses it. And as it senses it, your roller moves. So I'm going to take it off, and then it's going to sense it, and then it goes on again. So that's your film sensor there. So after you take all your tools and your extra parts out of here, and the brackets and stuff you need for that, just remove the rest of the plastic from here, and this will be your powder catch basin. So this catches all your powder, all your excess powder, and then you're just gonna take that out every once in a while when it gets full, and that's when you'll pour it back into here, where all your powder goes into. And then put it back in here, and then repeat the process after your prints or whenever this gets full. Just pull it out and pour in, and put back to collect.